Hi guys, welcome back to Transits and Tactics. It's been quite a few days before this transit came, and now it's time to kind of get more active. And I'm really feeling this energy now. I think we're done exploring the throat gates for a while, and we're now in the G center, which is gate 7, the gate of the role of the self. It's the solar transit is through gate 7, and then the grounding energy here is Earth in gate 13, the gate of the listener. And I am really loving this energy, to be honest, because it actually gives us an opportunity to think clearly. And I think in conjunction with the Mercury retrograde, which I absolutely love, yes, there is a chance to lose your electronic devices to it, and there's a chance of miscommunicating sometimes. But I find that there's so much mental clarity during this period. So the next 3 weeks going to be amazing. And so this is the first, it's really good how this coincides with gate 7, where it is about leadership of self, leadership of others in a way through reflection. And by the way, while I'm saying this, if you have the 31st gate, because 731, this is the alpha channel, there is a tendency for you to tell others what you think they should do, even if they didn't ask you for advice. So projectors, beware, but anyone else, fifth lines, beware, but anyone else too. It's not just exclusive to projectors or people with line 5 that you can get a pushback, right? If you're not invited into guidance, hold back a little bit. And especially if you have the 31st gate, right, there is going to be this tendency. So if you're invited, of course, your expression of your ideas can help people reflect on themselves, because remember, this is the gate of the role of the self. So whatever you are saying, that could be reflected on them. But also it is a really good time right now to think about who are we listening to? Who is actually giving us leadership? And is this leadership aligned with where we want to be? So this is also a gate of planning for the future. So we're dealing with the G center, we're dealing with identity and direction. And this is now the time to get organized, to break, to first of all decide on what we're focusing on, what is in the future, what is right now dysfunctional, that is not working, and how can we fix it? How can we change it? Maybe break it into step-by-step processes so we can achieve our goals. And that's a really, really good, very logical, very orderly sort of energy. And I'm already definitely feeling this. Reassessing people, thinking about, there's a lot of empathy in the air. So if there is an emotional outbreak, which can happen, so this is not going to work for you if you separate yourself from others, you feel pessimistic, you maybe have like emotional outbursts, try and catch yourself if you're in that sort of frequency, because there is a lot of empathy in the air, so you're also maybe like you might push people away. Or if you're witnessing this is what happened to me, and I witnessed a real, like, a bad emotional outburst, but it wasn't, this is a really good moment, this transit, to think about, is this dysfunctional, or is this, where's this coming from, and show that empathy, and reflect and see how can this be improved so that everybody can have a more aligned future. And I'm absolutely loving this energy. Anita, what's your reflections on the current transit?
Yeah, this I love this energy as well, and there's so many connotations to it because, as we know, if you have energy from the throat or from the G center to the throat, it's actually quite vulnerable to speak your voice. It can be vulnerable to show up. So this is interesting for business and marketing, and that natural vulnerability is because you're speaking from your heart. You're speaking from a place that isn't someone else's opinion, which is quite safe. Let's put it that way. And with and it's about practice. With this is what breaks you through the fear of being vulnerable. The more you speak your voice and your heart, the more comfortable you get with it, because when we're vying with the nodes, which are in quite critical energies right now, it can be easily to criticize yourself and not even say what you need to say. So the other thing is Mercury retrograde is coming right through Scorpio at the moment, starting in Virgo, coming back into Leo. And sorry, I said Scorpio a minute ago, Leo. And this energy is really asking you to explore what structures or discipline do you have around your yes? Because, it's all about having the courage to speak out, the courage to do your own thing. And when these energies, this Mercury retrograde, for the first time I've seen it, is not saying stop. And this time it's saying just check in with your yes. Look at your disciplines. Virgo is about practical details, day-to-day routine for your work, for your life. And Leo, the gate 29, is saying make sure you're getting that yes, because it's also going through the 4, which is mental solutions. So when you put them together, it's just look at your structures, look at the processes that you're applying to your work, to your life. Make sure they're aligned with your yes, because mental solutions are no longer enough. And so it's a really cool Mercury retrograde. But I do have to bring a warning, because there's a number of tensions in the planets right now that are triggering and activating these energies as well. So you're going to feel tension that there's no reason for. And my advice would be, don't make up excuses. Don't identify it too quickly. Let the tension dissolve before you do say something, rather than saying, oh, I'm feeling nervous, I better not say this. Or, oh, instead kind of go, okay, there's a natural tension here. People are going to be a little bit more triggered or triggering than usual. And just tune in with your yes. Is it the right time to say this? Is it the right time? Listen to my inner voice, listen to my inner yes, and honor that. So it's really cool energies this week.
This is amazing because it kind of feeds into the next few days, right? So this transit right now is from the 5th of August 2024 to the 11th of August. So for the next few days, there's also, before you speak, even if it's a yes, were you invited? Is the person on the other side ready for you to tell them what to do, what you think that they should be doing? But I also love this reverse part of this, because we are, especially with like solopreneurs, online businesses, we're all trying to grow our businesses, sometimes from the point of survival, sometimes we want to thrive more. And it's all about who we follow. It's all about who we're listening into that moment. And yes, sometimes and always your word is the last word, your inner authority or whatever authority you have is your yes. And again, checking in with yourself is the key. But you are also, everybody is also influenced or conditioned by other people. So this is the week where you can even, journal who is good for me right now. What is good for me right now? Who am I listening? What are they saying? Is that good for me right now? And tune in with yourself. What is your intuition saying? What is your authority, whether it's sacral, whether it's with splenic? If you have emotional authority, come back to this journal. Like, try and feel it throughout your emotional wave. And this is really, really good stuff, because this gives you clarity and vision. This gives you direction for a better, improved, more aligned future, because we can't look for alignment if we don't know the facts right now. I know I get sometimes caught up in my head, and I start worrying about something, or I'm very unclear where I'm going. And of course, for me, for a long time, it was always money wounds that, trigger this. So for me to go into, like, log in into my bank and just know the figures, not think about them, but actually look at the figures. And I don't like numbers, right? So this is also in itself really, really painful exercise. But every time, the clarity and thinking, okay, where am I now? What do I need to achieve? And how do I need to achieve it in small goals? Even for a person like me, I have a completely open will center. I don't really work with targets. I don't really work with numbers, but the clarity is something I really always appreciate. Get your evidence together. Like, what is it, the bottom line now? Then you can either be open to receive, but you know where you stand. This is right now, is this time to get organized, and especially with relationships, because as far as I remember, we are in the quarter of duality right now. So duality is about connection and bonding. And so it is about the relationships, which relationships are good for you. Maybe your clients, maybe your mentors, maybe your whoever it is, have a look where you at, put yourself at at the center of all these decisions,
Mm,
and this can then, you can connect with people, you can see who you bounce off, but question everything. I feel
mm.
like it's my
Yeah,
63-4 channel of doubt that says question
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Because
exactly.
yeah, the clarity is so important.
Yeah. And I would say as well, this channel or this 713 is um it's about listening to your soul, giving your soul a voice and listening to your soul. So from the perspective of manifesting, very often a lot of people will say different things that you should do or could do, but often it's the inner voice, your inner voice that is the leader. And so you've all remember a time when you decided to do, or you felt guided to do something, and everyone told you were crazy, right? And you did it anyway, and it worked really well. Just as much as you can remember when you had that inner guidance and you didn't follow it, and then look
Mm.
back and went, oh, I should have done that. So it's super energy in around learning and teaching yourself to listen to your inner voice and follow it. And as Juliette said, sometimes you don't know the answer. Sometimes it takes courage to follow your inner voice when you don't know the answer. And obviously, don't spend $1 gazillion, but within reason, play, Leo, with following your guidance and seeing what happens. Play with this because it's very playful energy this week, all right? As aside from the inner tension, if you keep your focus on play, you're going to go a long way with this.
It's so true. And you know what? On the leap day, the 29th of February this year, I did something following my gut that is culminating this week, and I'm not revealing what it is until after the day. But it's just a very, very good example of following your gut against all the logic, against anything, any judgment that can happen, and then really, really coming to amazing, amazing things, and just receiving the best gifts that you can, So I know firsthand about this, go against the grain if your gut said yes.
Yeah.
And this is something that, you know what, the way I look at it is very simple. You can follow your gut, and you don't need to expect the lightning bolt every time. Sometimes your gut leads you to lessons that you need to learn in life. So not everything is going to be a massive success. Sometimes you will be failing at something, but this is a failure you must learn. So everything that comes into your life, when you follow that inner guidance, even if it doesn't work out, I am extremely grateful for those situations and scenarios, because I can see looking back that all of them were actually bringing me some gifts. It was like forward echoes. And then a beautiful thing happens, and you realize that you were just coming closer and closer to it through these forward echoes. So beautiful, so
Exactly. That's
beautiful.
excellent because, they will say opportunities don't necessarily come with rainbows and roses. They often come through the challenge. So, as we're teaching you over the last couple of months, the more you stay quiet and listen to your own voice, the quicker you're going to cap on what actually needs to be done in the middle of what looks like the shit hitting the fan, right? And the other thing I just want to say, and I'll leave it at this, is we are coming up to the 8th of the 8th also, which is the Lion's Gate, which is a really powerful manifesting and abundance time. So check out where you're having restrictive thoughts about not enough money or not enough clients, and open up to bringing this energy in to change that for yourself. It's really cool.
That is so beautiful. Guys, with this blessing, we're going to leave you, and we will see you in the next episode of Transits and Tactics. See you later, and goodbye.